Hey everyone, this is Mike with GMAT Ninja, here to explain how you can build your own GMAT practice test using the GMAT prep software. You're going to hear me talk about fake practice tests throughout this video. So before I explain how to make and take these tests, I want to explain what I mean when I say fake practice test. First of all, there are 6 real practice tests available on the official GMAT practice site, 2 for free and 4 that you can purchase on NBA.com. But what if you want to take a practice test without wasting one of those 6? Or what if you've already burned through those 6 tests and need a fresh one? Well, you could go out and buy unofficial GMAT tests, but those are no substitute for official practice tests. Even the best test prep companies simply don't have the resources to match the time and energy that goes into every official question. Alternatively, you could purchase over 400 official GMAT practice questions on NBA.com, and you can use those official questions to build your own fake practice tests. I say fake tests because these won't be adaptive and they won't behave quite like a real exam. But if you play your cards right, these fake tests will feel pretty close to the real thing. Okay, now that you know what fake tests are and what you'll need for them, let's go through the steps for actually building one. If you don't already have them, go to NBA.com and buy the GMAT official practice questions. We'll put a link in the video description that you can check out later. Log into your NBA.com account and access the official practice site. If you've successfully activated the official practice questions, the Quick Start section should show 494 available questions. In that Quick Start section, click the More Options button. Now you're going to see 4 steps to create your own question set. The selections for steps 1, 2, and 4 will be the same regardless of whether you're doing quant, verbal, or integrated reasoning. For step 1, select Not Answered. For step 2, select Exam Mode. And for step 4, select Random. The selections for step 3 depend on what section you want to practice, so let's go through each configuration. One of the nice things about this application is that you don't have to do all 4 sections in one sitting. You can do only a quant section, only a verbal section, only quant and verbal, or any combination that you want. If you want to do all 4 sections to mimic an actual full exam, you'll need to decide on a section order. On test day, you'll have 3 options, but for this example, we're going to start with quant, then do verbal, then IR, and then AWA. So let's complete step number 3 to set up your quant section first. If your average quant score is in the 30s or below, click on the boxes for Select All on the left-hand side. Do this for data sufficiency and for problem solving. You'll know that you're all set if the number of questions in each box matches the number of questions next to that box. If you're shooting for a higher score, then for both of these question types, select the highest possible number under medium and hard, but leave the easy box at 0. Set an external timer for 62 minutes, start your timer, and then click the Start button. Notice that you're shown the total time elapsed and the time spent on the current question. On the actual GMAT, you'll only see the total time remaining in the section. You'll never be able to see how much time you've spent on an individual question. So as soon as you start the section, click the Hide This Menu button to avoid inadvertently cheating. You will have to click that button periodically to see what question number you're on, but once you've checked, immediately hide the timers again. Once you've finished 31 questions, click Finish and then take an 8-minute break before moving on to the next section. Now you've hit your first break, and fake tests are a great opportunity to practice your strategy for your 2 breaks. Theoretically, you'll have 8 minutes for each, but in reality, you'll lose time waiting for the proctor, checking in and out of the test room, accessing your locker, walking or sprinting to the bathroom, so those 8-minute breaks will feel more like 4 or 5 minutes. You'll also want to plan out exactly what you're going to eat or drink during those breaks, just like you will on test day. Once the break is over, you can start the verbal section. Click the Home button, then click More Options to create a new set of questions. If your average verbal score is below 30, click Select All on the left-hand side for all 3 verbal question types. Just as you did with quant, you'll want to include as many questions as possible in the set. So make sure the number of questions in each box matches the number of questions next to that box. If you're shooting for a higher score, then select the highest possible number under medium and hard, but leave the easy box at 0. Set an external timer for 65 minutes, start your timer, and then click the Start button. Again, make sure to click Hide this menu. Once you've finished 36 questions, click Finish, and then take another 8-minute break before moving on to the next section. Now, moving on to integrated reasoning, let's click that Home button again, then click More Options to start setting up. Click Select All on the left-hand side for IR. Just like with quant and verbal, you'll want the maximum number of questions, so make sure those numbers match. The IR section of the GMAT is not adaptive, so you'll always see a mix of easy, medium, and hard questions regardless of your score range. Set an external timer for 30 minutes, start your timer, and then click the Start button. As always, make sure to click Hide this menu. Once you've finished 12 questions, click Finish and go straight to AWA because there's no break between these two sections. This practice software doesn't contain any AWA prompts, but you can find a list of them on NBA.com. We'll leave a link for you in the video description. Once you have that list, close your eyes, scroll to a random topic, set a timer for 30 minutes, and start typing in the word processor of your choice. Once that 30 minutes is over, your fake test is done. Now, I'm going to give you a few tips on how you can analyze your fake test results once you're done. To see the work you've done, go back to the home screen, and in the Review section of this screen, pick the set you want to analyze and then click View. Here's what your results will look like. If your goal on verbal is a 40 or higher, and you're only using the medium and hard questions, you should be getting about 75% or more of those questions right. Similarly, if your goal on quant is a 47 or higher and you're only using the medium and hard quant questions, you should be getting about 65% or more of those questions right. Keep in mind that these are approximate benchmarks, so take them with a grain of salt. As with the actual test, what you miss on a fake test is much more important than how many you miss. Careless mistakes are disastrous on an adaptive test, so pay close attention to any errors on questions that you thought you knew how to do, and try to figure out what stopped you from getting those questions right. Also, how was your timing? Aside from the first question on an RC set, did you spend more than 3 minutes on any single question? You can easily check this by sorting your results by time spent. Maybe you didn't allocate enough time to check every step of your work? Or maybe you didn't read every question twice and answered the wrong thing? Whatever the case, try to figure out what you can do to improve your technique as you continue practicing. Now, as useful as these fake tests are, they do come with some drawbacks. For one thing, the mix of question types might be a bit off. For example, you might get too many sentence correction problems, or too few critical reasoning problems, or you might go on a long streak where you only see one question type. So just make sure you double check your setup and then try to ignore any inconsistencies that you see. Also, fake tests are not adaptive. That means that the average difficulty level might not end up being quite right for you. And you won't get a score. That's obviously a huge drawback, but even without a score, the fake test results are very useful. Lastly, because there are only about 500 official practice questions on the site, the number of fake tests you can take is limited. You'll have enough questions for at least 5 full quant sections, at least 4 full verbal sections, and 3 full IR sections. If you're using the easy questions, you'll be able to squeeze out a couple extra quant and verbal sections. Regardless of your score range, that's at least 4 pairs of quant and verbal sections, and that's a huge bonus. Now I'd like to give you 3 crucial reminders on what to do when you take these fake tests. First, hide those individual question timers. If you can see the time spent on each individual question, you are cheating. So make sure to click Hide this menu whenever you start a new section. Second, make sure to plan your breaks. Those 8-minute breaks will fly by on test day, so you want to practice them now. Remember that you'll only really have 4 or 5 minutes to do what you need to do. And last, but certainly not least, before starting each section, double check the steps you took while setting up. Well, I hope these fake tests help you prepare for the actual GMAT. Despite their limitations, the fake tests are extremely valuable. I'm Mike with GMAT Ninja, Thanks for watching.